Hey, good day, folks, and welcome to another edition of Lumberjack Logic Live. I'm your host, Neil Johnson. So excited to be with you and share this news with you, people. I just got off the phone with someone at the RNC after reading some blather in the mainstream news. And of course, there's been big changes at the RNC, but I don't think people realize just what Trump is up against, what he has to deal with, and how hard this is to pull together. It's not like a normal campaign where you have somebody who, with the deep state likes all these political consultants who are milking money off of people like them and so on. That's just not what we're dealing with here. This is a totally different situation, and Trump is really pulling off something very, very difficult. And the mainstream media is freaking out because he's doing it so well, but then they're trying to lie on the other hand. I'm going to show you exactly what's going on. So do me a favor, smash that like, do chat in with where you're from. Somebody is on from Germany. That's Hoplo Patrin. Keith from Augusta, Georgia. John from Oklahoma. Great to have the German folks on. I actually have some German heritage in me, Norwegian, Swedish, and German. Keith from Augusta, Georgia. Oklahoma, John Stout. Biloxi, Mississippi is on the stream. Josh Oliver from Longview, Texas, and so on. So, folks, thanks so much. Rainmaker's on. Good to see you on. So yeah, just please smash that like and do chat in with where you're from. So I'm gonna move through this really fast. I've got a hard break because I've got an appointment on the backside. So I'm gonna start out with this. This is actually just I want to show you what's going on with the polling and MSNBC's reaction to this, and then we're gonna go into a further reaction from MSNBC that is much deeper. This is not the deep dive by any means. I just want you to see how they're losing it, because the fact of the matter is Trump is winning in every key swing state.
Trump neck and neck in every swing state. According to the new numbers from the Wall Street Journal, Trump leads Biden in Arizona, Georgia, Michigan, North Carolina, Nevada, and Pennsylvania by figures that are all within the poll's margin of error. In Wisconsin, the survey shows the two candidates tied at 46% each. The poll also finds negative perceptions about the economy remain a problem for Biden. 63% of swing state voters say the U.S. economy overall is not so good or poor condition, while 36% say it's in excellent or good condition. But when asked to rate the economic conditions in their own states, the majority of voters in 5 of those 7 swing states say it's in excellent or good shape. Joining us now, CEO of the Messina Group, Jim Messina. He served as White House Deputy Chief of Staff to President Obama and ran his 2012 re-election campaign.
Jim, as we always say, these are snapshots. The 2 things that I'm looking at right now, obviously, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, Michigan, so critical. They're all very close. I'm surprised by, again, I would never guess this 5 years ago, that Joe Biden continues to perform best in Wisconsin. That Wisconsin, of all states, seems to be a state older white guys actually aren't thrilled with what's happening.
Isn't that funny? So they bring it to older white guys, but you can see they're having a moment because this is what's going on. What's going on is that Joe Biden isn't winning. They want him to be winning. He's not winning. But here's where it goes off the rails, people. This gets pretty wild. So I want to share this one with you. Okay. So we're not going to watch this whole thing. I'm just going to get into the first 4 minutes or so of this, but watch this. It's not playing yet. It will. I'm telling you, it's going to play. Come on. I know it won't play. This, I'm telling you, this is solid gold stuff.
Joining us now, special correspondent at Vanity Fair, Gabriel Sherman. His new piece is entitled "Inside the Terrifyingly Competent Trump 2024 Campaign." Okay, so right there, Vanity Fair is having to admit the obvious, and that's inside the terrifyingly competent Trump 2024 campaign. So if you remember last time, Trump's campaign was full of leakers and all of this. You know, he was running for president. He brought on people probably he felt were good. You know, people would maybe ran campaigns for people like George Bush, winning presidential campaigns, those types of things. But these were actually people who did not like him and had more of a love affair with the media than they did with actually winning an election. And I got to bring something really important to you. So this morning, there's something big going on in New Hampshire.
I'm going to be out there again next week. I'm going to be podcasting from New Hampshire. But what you need to understand is I'm looking, there's something going on with the Supreme Court case. I'm going to probably get somebody on the show here. I'm going to cover that on it's a big deal. But that being said, was looking for a little help. I actually talked to somebody at the RNC today, someone in the legal department of the RNC. And one thing that's really interesting is, so you have a situation at the RNC, which Rona Romney McDaniel left in shambles. They don't have the money. They're building that money back up. And their biggest concern right now, I shouldn't say their biggest concern, because Lara Trump, Michael Whatley are talking about election integrity, and I'll show you that to a big, big extent. But they don't want anybody to say 2020 was stolen. Now, whether you believe it or not, that's their concern. Why? Why is that their concern? Anybody want to take a guess? Write it up in the chat. What is their big concern? Is their big concern that, it's going to suppress the vote somehow? No, people. I think in reality, the main concern is what the main concern has always been for these people who want coverage in mainstream media to be positive for them. They're worried about maybe looking a little kooky. Maybe the media comes after them. And this is very similar to what happened with Rick Perry when he couldn't defend the statement about Social Security being a Ponzi scheme. More concerned about how they're perceived by the media than what is actually true and real. So let me go back to this.
And also joining us, national political reporter for the Washington Post, Isaac Arnstorff. He's the author of the new book entitled Finish What We Started, The MAGA Movement's Ground War to End Democracy. Gabe, we'll start with you. In your new piece, you write in part, quote, while Trump's 2016 agenda was frequently stymied by infighting and incompetence, available signs point to a second West Wing staffed by loyalists who would actually carry out his policies. President Trump knows who can deliver and who can't. The backstabbers who weren't around in 2016 won't be in the next White House.
Okay, people, you need to understand this is from a liberal. So this is their big fear, that Trump actually has competent people who are going to carry out his policies. He knows who can deliver and who can't. The backstabbers who were around in 2016 won't be in this next White House. This is what's upsetting the media so bad, because right now they can't get information from inside the campaign. No one's leaking.
Trump's senior campaign advisor, Jason Miller, told me Trump's 2024 campaign has already demonstrated Trump can run an effective operation. This campaign is locked down, a Republican close to Trump said. Most of all, Trump is disciplined because fear is a powerful motivator. His wealth and freedom are at stake. He is terrified of going to jail, a longtime friend.
Now, here's where they go a spin. So here's the thing. Trump's discipline, they're attributing not to the fact that he has seen the realities of the last campaigns and how people did him wrong. They're saying that it's all because he's terrified about going to jail. I'm going to just skip ahead. And then they go on about all these felony counts and blah, blah, blah.
Close to Trump said, and Gabe, he says out loud that he would be a dictator and that he is your retribution to his voters. He says a lot of the quiet part.
I think he said success will be our retribution, and he would only be a dictator on day one by rescinding Joe Biden's unlawful executive orders. But these people are going to say what they're going to say. I just want you to see the meltdown here and what they're actually expressing, because Trump's campaign is locked down. But it's going to get even better.
Loud, even the frightening part out loud. He also has a campaign construct that now has his daughter-in-law built in. There are a lot of different factors to this that didn't exist the first time around.
She's worried. Look at her face.
That's right, Mika. Everyone here on the show has been covering Trump for years. And the big story in 2016 and to some extent 2020 was that his campaign was a soap opera. It was clashing personalities. It was nonstop drama. And covering this cycle, the thing that I've been struck by time and time again is that it's really a low drama campaign. These are operatives who are focused, who don't want press, who don't want their egos out there. They are focused on getting Donald Trump into the White House in November 2024, because as I write in the piece, His freedom is at stake. Really, the only thing that is guaranteed to keep Donald Trump out of jail is becoming the next president of the United States and appointing an attorney general who will get these charges thrown out. It's really that simple. And I think that is really why you see Donald Trump so focused. And yes, he says incendiary things on the stump, but when it comes to the mechanics of running the campaign, it is a much different operation.
Well, and of course, the campaign, I mean, insiders on the campaign have told me that their goal is to basically minimize him as much as possible.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so here's where we go off the rails. So here's the thing. Insiders in the campaign that Joe actually doesn't even have contact with. These insiders that he talks about, this is where the news media invents false narratives, okay? Now, I'm going to go on to here. So this is Michael Whatley, okay, the new chair of the RNC. You have to be in the room, Whatley said. You have got to be observers and attorneys in the room when the votes are being cast and when votes are being counted. So we're in the process of recruiting tens of thousands of volunteers, thousands of attorneys all across the country. So that when we get to the election season, we're going to be in the room. Their main focuses right now are those 3 states up north of Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania. Okay. Again, I just spoke with someone there in their legal department this morning. So this is not actually, unlike Joe Scarborough, who talks to people that, oh yeah, insiders in the campaign, you know, I'm talking about, this is not reality. What he's talking about is not reality. Now, this was reality, people. And this is why they're so upset. So if you go back to the RNC days under Ronna Romney McDaniel, okay, total spending, DNC, RNC, and look at this. I want to go to get out the vote texting. We spent $86,000. The Democrats spent $1.676 million, okay? Transfers to state parties. Again, the DNC beat us. The limousine, they didn't beat us. The media booking consultants, again, the DNC didn't beat us. And so on. So the DNC, look at this, voter file maintenance. The RNC didn't even spend $40,000 while the Democrats are spending $236,000 and so on. Floral arrangements are, Ronna spending $70,000. DNC, $795. Donor gifts. Again, we beat them with, in the bad way, we beat them. Management consulting. We spent almost 10 times as much. Office supplies. This is ridiculous. Okay, so this is what was going on with the RNC back then. All right. I was going to cover that on something different. So, and this is what I wanted to get to. So to wrap this up, it's beginning to look a lot like 2016. In politics, anything can happen, but at the rate things are going, Donald Trump seems, this is out of the hill, people, increasingly likely to return to the Oval Office. Last week, 2-time presidential loser Hillary Clinton appeared on The Tonight Show to promote a Broadway show, pressed to address the uncomfortable fact that President Biden is unpopular with even Democrat voters. Clinton's response was positively deplorable. So they go on about just how bad she is, okay? More astonishing is Democrats continue to make these exact types of election year gas. They don't get it, okay? That's the gist of this. But she's unlikable. Obviously, Hillary Clinton's unlikable, okay? Now here, check this out. They actually believe their own press and lost sight of voters' concerns. In fact, they disregarded voters' concerns outright, even after it became apparent Clinton was failing to connect with traditionally pro-democratic voting blocs. They didn't campaign as if there was any question of who would win the election. Clinton didn't even visit Wisconsin, not even once. Consequently, Trump's victory caught basically everyone in the Democratic Party and media by surprise because they have a limited view. They so believe what they're saying, okay? Now in 2024, Trump has a long road ahead of him, especially considering that he, like Biden, polls terribly. Trump's campaign inspires little confidence. The former president is out there hawking sneakers, Bibles, and perfume, all while his surrogates panhandle online for donations to pay off his legal bills. Again, this is the Hill. Okay, I would just take this for what it is. I'm not going to comment a lot on that. But do you know what else Trump did recently? Here you go, folks. On March 28th, he flew up from Florida to attend the wake of slain New York Police Department officer Jonathan Diller, who had been shot and killed during a traffic stop. Diller is survived by his wife and their 1-year-old son. During Diller's wake across town, Biden and his campaign were putting the finishing touches on a glitzy, star-studded campaign fundraiser. where they yucked it up later that evening with Stephen Colbert and Lizzo. For a mere $100,000, attendees could have their pictures taken. After paying his respects to the Diller family, Trump told reporters outside the funeral home, "The police are the greatest people we have. There's nothing and there's nobody like them, and this should never happen." He added, "We have to get back to law and order." Later that evening, Biden, who declined to attend Diller's wake, even though he was in New York, made a Dark Brandon joke at his fundraiser. Everyone clapped. How many people even know what that is? Anything can happen, but with these recent unforced errors by the Democrat Party, whose current campaign slogan amounts to "shut up and eat your gruel," it's starting to look a lot like 2016 all over again. And we all know how that played out. So they're all worked up, people, about the fact that here, I've got to pull this out, about the fact that Trump's campaign is tighter and more disciplined, that people at the RNC are now Trump loyalists. And in spite of what they're saying, because I just read another article this morning, and they go on about how, the RNC is in total chaos, and they're trying to hire back all the people they fired and all of this. And they talk to some person, who knows this stuff. Well, I actually talked to someone inside at the RNC today. And again, this isn't true. This isn't true. They're replacing these people. Honestly, would you want the people who couldn't even spend any money on get out the vote texting, who couldn't spend the money on cleaning up the voter rolls? They talk about, oh my gosh, the RNC is losing all these years of experience and these people who know what's going on. The only thing they knew how to do was lose elections and spend it on limousines and flowers. So I just want you to know, as you look forward and you're going to see all this stuff coming out in the news about how the RNC is falling apart and they're trying to hire back the people that they fired, it's just simply not true. Really quickly, too, I want to mention my sponsor, Midas Gold, MidasGoldGroup.com. You can also text Lumberjack to 232425 to receive free silver with a qualifying order. Get yourself some real money, people. Gold, silver, it always holds value, even when other things don't, all right? And also, too, check out MyPillow. They still have those big deals going on, mypillow.com/lumberjack. Thanks so much for listening, folks. I just want you to know what you're hearing is not what's going on. They're freaking out about it. And what they're really freaking out about is they don't have the contacts inside the campaign to even spin a narrative that they want to spin. All right. See you on the next episode. Peace out.